So moving on to video number 2 now. I guess it's the second time I've actually filmed this video because the first time I just had to delete it because the first time I did it, when I looked back on a camera, annoyingly I hadn't got my whole face in. I don't know how that happened. So this is actually the second time I've actually done this video. So hopefully this one will go better when you actually see my whole face. I can't do this video again, so if you don't see my whole face, because I'm actually a little bit of a rush because I have to leave later because I've got an appointment. So I'm hoping you can see me. Anyhow, so I want to talk to you in this video about a cake I've made today with my support worker because I made a cake in support and it's the first time I've actually done any cooking with my new support worker and I just thought making a cake would be a kind of nice easy way in. You know, because like I'm still getting to know her. This is the first time she's actually been properly in my kitchen seeing me cook. And although like making cake isn't the most challenging thing I can do, it's just a good way of getting used to my new support worker. Really doing something that's a little bit fun as well. And also, although it's not really challenging, it is still a bit of a challenge because I haven't done any baking for quite some time. The last time I made a cake was for my birthday, and it's a new cake. I haven't made this particular cake before. The recipe came from the Waitrose Food magazine, which I've got here. I have a Waitrose card, so I actually get this magazine free because otherwise you'd have to pay £2. It comes out once a month, and it's a really good magazine. It often has some really good recipes in here. So the recipe was page 26. Here we are. Carrot, olive oil, and almond cake was a cake I made. Hope you can see that. Yes, and so this is how you make it. It serves 8 slices, and it contains 90ml of extra virgin olive oil. This cake contains olive oil instead of butter, which is interesting, so a bit lighter than a regular cake. It contains 175 grams of golden caster sugar, 3 eggs, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, 1 orange zest, 225 grams carrots, finely grated. I actually used Chantenay carrots because they were the only ones I could find at the time. And I got a pack of them, and they come in different colours. So they go like purple carrots or yellow carrots, as well as the more regular orange carrots, which gave the cake an interesting colour. I guess you could also use parsnips instead if you wanted to, instead of carrots. That could work quite well. It contains 50 grams of plain flour. 190 grams of ground almonds and 50 grams of plain flour, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, and a tablespoon of icing sugar to dust. I didn't use icing sugar because I thought it would be sweet enough already, but that's just my personal preference. And also, with 190 grams of ground almonds, I forgot to get 2 bags of almonds, so I ended up actually only using about 100 grams of almonds because I only got 1 bag, but it still worked out fine. But next time I'd use the full amount. So what I did was I preheated the oven to 180 degrees. You lined the base and sides of a 23cm loose-bottomed or spring-form cake tin with baking parchment. And then what I did was I prepared the ingredients first of all. So I grated all those carrots, I grated the orange, that took the longest amount of time. And then in a large mixing bowl, it says using electric beaters. I don't have an electric beater, so I just did it a good old-fashioned way using a spoon, a baking spoon, but of course you could use a fork as well. You whisk the oil, the caster sugar and eggs together for about 2 minutes. And then you whisk in the vanilla, the orange zest, and it says a pinch of salt. I didn't have any salt in, so I didn't use that. I don't think that's really necessary. Followed by the carrots. You fold in the ground almonds, flour and baking powder to make a batter. And then you pour into the prepared tin and bake in the centre of the oven for about 40 minutes until golden, risen and springy to the touch. Because I have a really powerful oven, in my oven it actually only took about 35 minutes because it all depends on your oven, so just keep an eye on the cake. The skewer inserted into the centre should come out clean. If you don't have a skewer, just either press with your fingers and it should be bouncy, or you can use a knife and just stick that in and it should come out clean. That's a sign the cake's cooked. You're allowed to cool in the tin for about 10 minutes and then you turn out and leave to cool on a wire rack. And dust the surface with icing sugar if you're using icing sugar. I didn't use any myself, but that's the time to dust it if you do use it. And so you dust the surface with icing sugar before serving. So that was the cake. I had some with my support worker after I made it, fresh out the oven, so it's still nice and warm. It was a very nice cake. I very much enjoyed it. I'm going to give a couple of slices to my dad as well, and the rest, when it's fully cool, which it should be very soon, I'm going to put the rest in the freezer. So I've got a supply of cake to be going on with. It's all ready. I've all sliced it up, and yeah, so it's all raring to go. It's a really good cake, and I was very, very pleased with that one. Right, and now I'm going to guide you through very quickly a savoury recipe I made recently. Let's just find it. Where is it? Here it is. BBC Good Food Kidney Bean Curry. I'll put the link to this recipe below because I have a link. It contained vegetable oil, about a tablespoon. I used olive oil though. It contained half an onion, finely chopped. It contained garlic, finely chopped. I used a good 2 or 3 cloves of garlic because I do like my garlic. Ginger, thumb-sized, peeled and finely chopped. I didn't use fresh ginger in this recipe. I used powder because I sometimes find ginger a little bit too intense, and powder can work well as well, so I use powder. But I do use fresh ginger sometimes. Half a small pack of coriander, stalks finely chopped and leaves roughly shredded. Half a teaspoon of ground cumin. Half a teaspoon of paprika. A teaspoon of garam masala, which is a mixture of different spices. 200-gram can of chopped tomatoes. A 200-gram can of kidney beans, and some cooked basmati rice. So what I did was, I heated the oil in a large frying pan over a low-medium heat. You add the onion and you cook that slowly, sweating the onion for at least 5 minutes, stirring occasionally until softened. You then add the garlic, ginger and coriander stalks and cook that for about 2 minutes. You then add the spices and cook for another minute. You tip in the chopped tomatoes and kidney beans in their water and bring to a boil. If you don't want to use the water in a tin, you could just add a splash of water. You turn down the heat and simmer for about 15 minutes until thick. Season with pepper and then serve with basmati rice and coriander leaves. So that was really nice. I made it two times actually. The first time I made it, I possibly made it a little bit too spicy. I went to town a little bit with the garam masala, and I do like my food spicy, but it was a little bit too spicy for me. So on the second time, I added less garam masala. I added about 1/4 of a teaspoon, and it was a lot nicer, because the first time it was like, phew. But yeah, we all have different preferences, so just do with the spice what you may. Do you like spicy food? Let me know. As I say, I do quite like my food with lots of flavour. You could probably tell from a lot of recipes I do get, they do have a lot of flavour. I don't like bland food. Food has to taste of something. A little anecdote, when I was a kid, I always find this quite funny, but it's one of my strong memories, because nearly all my memories involve food of some description. I was in Bristol. I can't tell you the exact age I was. I have a feeling I was probably around like 6 or 7. I was quite little anyway. And we were in Bristol, staying overnight there at a B&B, and we went to a curry house. There were all these different types of curry on the table, like bowls of curry with a ladle in each one, and I wanted to try each type of curry, so I remember trying all the different curries, including a vindaloo, which was the strongest one, and I really liked the vindaloo, and my mum was quite surprised because she was like, she thought vindaloo would be a bit too strong for a child of my age, but I really, really liked it, so I think I've always had quite a kind of liking for food like that. And I also remember it had a fish tank along the wall as well. That's one of my early memories. I have many, many food memories. I won't regale you with them all now. Maybe I'll tell you some more in other videos. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching these 2 videos today. Do let me know what you think about them. Let me know if you do any baking, and let me know how you like your food, spicy or not spicy. And I look forward to speaking to you again next week. I don't know yet what I'm going to be talking to you about next week, because it all depends what happens between now and then. So you might be getting a few more recipes. It all depends, and of course I haven't forgotten, but I will be talking to you soon about my OCD. That is also in the cards. I keep on saying that, and I do intend to do it, so I haven't forgotten, but I can't say exactly when, because I want to do a really good video on that, and I'll need to think about it and prepare it, but I'll certainly be doing that very soon. So anyhow, I look forward to speaking to you next week, so thank you for watching.